Zilversmit.com. A new drummer for a new awakening.
Across the realms and around the world, welcome to Outside the Box. Tonight, your host and vessel of spirit is Nancy Zilversmit. We hope that you will learn to have the strength and courage to step outside the box and dwell with spirit, and to leave the old beliefs that hold you down behind you and rediscover your spirituality in new ways. It is September 8th, 2015, and this show is brought to you by www.sanctuaryofsacredspace.com. Today we're going to be doing past life readings. If you wanted a mini past life reading, you can call in quick in, and we'll do that. If you don't, you will hear about past lives today. I do have an upcoming class starting October the 3rd. That is on a Saturday. It is a six-week class. Starts at 1 p.m. in my home office. The information will be up on the Sanctuary of Sacred Space website probably tomorrow. And as to how to register for that class, I do both local people and online people. I've had several classes where we've combined the two. It actually does work. We go through past life regression sessions, and everybody gets one, where you actually go under hypnosis, and you are the one that's bringing forth the past lives that have messages for you. Usually we set an intention before going into the hypnosis session as to what it is that you want to address in your life, and how that is involved in your present life, and why is it carrying over, and what you can do about it. And you get advice from yourself. Your own past life will tell you. Sometimes we have spirit guides and angels that come through, and they come through the person that's in the past life regression. They do not come through me. So everything that you that is said in that session, it comes out of you. It doesn't come from me. And I usually record the sessions, and you get a copy of that session by the end of the 6-week session. With the breathing and the blank spaces edited out, so it just sounds like an ongoing conversation. If you want to know what those sessions are like, we actually have some of those way back in the archive that I recorded and ran clips on the show with the person who was actually under hypnosis live on the show doing the interview. So if you want to see what those sessions were like, go back down into my archives, look for past lives, and look for the past life regression sections, because there are actual clips and interviews with the people. So they are very, very, very interesting. You never know what's going to come forward for people. We also, during those 6-week sessions, we do past life therapy and healing, a full past life reading, not a mini like what we're doing today, but a full past life reading, and past life astrology report. So you get a full astrology report. It's about 28 pages long as to your past life. And also the people that have gotten those astrology readings say that those resonate more with them than a astrology report on their present life. They seem to resonate more with the past life astrology report. You learn how past life moments happen in your present life, and how to keep track of them. And that was a most recent thing that we had added to the class, was how to keep track of your past life moments that occur in your present life, and how to know what they are, how to recognize them, and realize that this life is connected with your past life as well, and break patterns that no longer serve you, because a lot of the stuff that comes up in the past lives they show up as patterns. patterns, and usually not good ones, and things that you would like to break out of, because otherwise, if you don't, you just keep it just keeps recycling and recycling. One example is relationships. If you keep seeming to have the same kind of relationship every time you start dating or marrying or attracting members of the opposite sex or the same sex, depends on your orientation, they always seem to be like this different body, same thing, okay? Different body, same thing. And they always seem to have the same problems and issues. And if you attract strange people, you're going to continue to attract strange people till you figure out how to break that cycle. And it's very, very interesting. Okay, so I am taking NQuicks. I am taking also live calls. I did get a Facebook person that volunteered to come forward, and I see she is in the NQuicks, and then so hello, I see you there. She's in the chat room actually, and so I see her in the chat room, not the NQuicks. So I do also get all of that comes up on my screen on my end, so I do see all of that. Okay, so I'm also taking any spiritual, paranormal, and supernatural questions as well. So before I get started with the past life stuff, if you want to go ahead and start calling in or inquicking, I'm going to go ahead and start talking a little bit about past life experiences and why we have them and why should we remember them. I'm sorry, I keep looking back and forth. I've got paperwork and all kinds of other things in front of me here. So it gets to be very interesting, and if you want to call in at any time while I'm doing that, I will take notice, and usually what comes in is pretty much what I'm talking about, and so go ahead and do that. When I do a full session for a person, and it's not like the freebie you're getting now, where I can take my time and do what I want. But when I do a full session, it usually lasts an hour. If it's a past life regression, it can go an hour or more, and it usually goes beyond that. It usually goes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And so you're getting a session for $65, and that's a long session to be getting, and a lot of information. And here you would be getting it in a classroom for $20 a week, which is quite a deal, actually, quite a deal, because you're in a classroom with other students, and it's very, very interesting when they observe what's going on with other people, and they make their comments as well. A lot of them are usually very spiritually gifted who are in the classes, and they make their observations and things as well, and they give the feedback to the person that goes under the regression session. But anyway, why past life? Well, why do we want to look into our past lives? Why do we want to find out what we have going on and why we have things happening today? Well, sometimes they show up in as chronic pain. And usually when we get into the past life healing session, those things will pop up in the past life healing session, and we do a whole week where we do just the healing sessions, and everybody gets a chance on the table. I keep the classes small. I don't do huge classes because they take an extra week. So we do small classes, and everybody gets individual attention. And if you have chronic pain or emotional pain or whatever, it shows up in the energy. We put a person on a healing table, it shows up in their energy field. And they don't even have to say what's going on with them physically in this lifetime, because it will show up in their energy field. The students also take a chance at feeling the energy of the person, what they see if they're clairvoyant, what they see, what they feel, what they hear. The past life is invited into the room, and it's usually more than one past life that shows up, because many things will start coming up in the person's energy field, and they're conscious when we're doing this. And I will tell them, you had got this going on, you had that going on, you got a spear over here, you got an arrow over there, you had an amputation in this lifetime, so what have you physically got going on now? And it's whatever that I am talking about, they confirm that they have that physical issue in this lifetime. And I'll go, okay, you have issues with this hip, it was smashed in a past lifetime, you were crushed under a boulder, you've got an issue with the ankle on the other side, it was broken in a past lifetime, and you talk to the person and you tell them what you're seeing, feeling, hearing, and in their energy and in the room. And we get people that will say, yes, I have had the arthritis in this present lifetime. It's in the hip area. I've had ankle issues. I broke my ankle, and they're going, yes, I have back pain. It also comes in if it was a spear or something that went through. I tell them where the entry point was, and it's usually where they're having a great deal of pain in this lifetime, and where the exit point is on the body. And then we remove that energy. We remove that energy that is still painful to them. Now, if it has been there so long that it causes a physical issue, sometimes it will help lessen the pain of the physical issue, but other times people will constantly have an issue with an area, and it's manifesting physically in an area, and doctors can't explain what it is or whatever, and they call it by just some bogus name or some generic name, and they say, well, this is what it is, and we can't do anything except give you meds for it or tell you just you're just have to live with it or whatever. And what happens is that when we disperse the energy, remove the spear, remove the arrow, reattach the leg that was amputated in another lifetime energetically, sometimes the pain goes away and sometimes it's very instant. So if it's not something that doctors can physically figure out, it's usually on the energetic, on the spirit level, and it is past life related. Emotional pain is also part of past life issues, and with emotional pain, it's just like you have emotional swings, you have trauma that you don't understand because you didn't have it in this lifetime, but you're feeling it, and it's like it's a big weight on you. Sometimes it has to do with your love life, sometimes it has to do with your relationships with other people, sometimes it's just how you feel about getting up and taking care of your day. Yes, you may be diagnosed as having depression or having other issues or phobias or paranoia, and sometimes that comes out of past lives too. I don't like going swimming in deep water, and it came out in a past life session that I had been swept overboard as a child working on a boat, and this was in ancient times, and I got caught in the net and I was drowned. And my other thing is I have a fear of heights, and even though I do go out and challenge myself with that, it's like I will go up on the roof as long as somebody's holding the ladder, but I will actually go up there. I've been rappelling, I've been bouldering, I've been caving, and actually challenging the past life issue, the fear of heights. I still will not go up on one of those rides that whip you around that's way high up in the air, because I'm not stupid. And there have been people who, in this present day and age, have accidents on those. So no, I will not go up on those. It's just a matter of my own little phobia about heights, but being thrown from something is also one of my issues. But I had fallen off of a cliff in a past lifetime, and these were where other people were doing the past life readings. I do train people how to do these type of things as well. In the class, we basically get the past life reading done for you, but I do have other classes where I do teach advanced past life. That's not listed on my class session. It's usually students who approach me for that who've been through the original class, and they will also learn how to read the teacher as well as the other students in the class. So sometimes our past life issue comes from a spiritual growth, and if we have an issue with being able to move up in our spiritual growth, or feel like we're being held back, or feel like we can't advance, sometimes there's a past life issue that needs to be cleared out of the way. And once that is cleared out, then usually the spirituality, the spiritual growth opens even more. And the other thing is an inability to move forward. I know a lot of people that have this issue, the inability to move forward. It's like they're on the hamster wheel, and they're just doing things over and over and over and over again. They just can't get ahead, period. And usually there's a reason. It's usually past life related, and it could freeze a person actually with fear. And if they can't move forward, they have a fear of success. They have a fear of moving up. And success is not always getting getting the best job or the highest paying job or whatever it is. Sometimes it's much smaller than that. And if you take it in small chunks as to what happened in the past lives, why do you have this fear? I had a lady who wanted to know why she had a fear of sleeping in the dark. She still slept as an adult in her 30s with a light on every night. In her house, and where she could see it, because she had this fear of the dark. Well, what happened is when we put her down into the past life regression, it took her back to her childhood where she had trauma. And we went through that whole session with her as the child, and what happened, what led up to it. And she was able to, once she understood where it came from, and she had blocked this out of her adult mind. So it was like a past life, but it was earlier in her present life. But she had totally blocked it out, and because of the trauma. So sometimes we deal with that as well in the past life. And once she understood where it came from and why it happened, and we went through forgiveness piece with herself and with the people that were part of the trauma who were no longer alive. And what happened is that she was able to, she reported back the next week. She came back to class and I slept with the light off. She says, I don't have fear of the light being, the room being dark anymore. I don't have to have light on anymore. And she says, now I understand where it came from. And it literally changed her behavior and her outlook. So, inability to move forward. And that was her little piece, that she could not move forward into, getting past a childhood trauma. So inability to move forward could be from past life, it could be present life. But and we've even had future lives come in during these sessions, because we take them, if the soul is willing, we take them as far as they are willing to go. So very interesting work when we work with past life. Repeating mistakes and lessons not learning. A lot of people out there have that issue. They, again, will continue to repeat things, and it's basically because they just don't learn. They just don't learn. I mean, why do I keep getting a boyfriend who beats me up? And I see this a lot, even in regular readings. And, I love him, this and that. And it's just like, okay, they had a past life together. They had this going on. She can't get past it. It's a karmic thing, a lot of karma in past life things. And which is another word for, what comes around goes around. So it's like, then it turns into a counseling session, or asking that person to actually, while they're under hypnosis, give advice to themselves, and ask the past life to give advice. And it gets really, really interesting. Okay, changing defeating beliefs and behaviors. Okay, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Or they'll just turn around and walk away from something because they have a fear about it. Okay. And they also, in their relationships, how they deal with people. Can they actually sit down and change the way they have relationships with people? What is their personality type? Where did that come from? And we put people under hypnosis, and they have totally different personalities each lifetime. And some can be very, very cruel, some could be very wimpy, some could be regal, some could be honorable. But it depends on who they were, what they believed in, how they dealt with other people. So relationships could be a father-daughter, could be sibling, could be friends, could be spouse. So what's going on with relationships? How do they deal with people, and why are they repeating these things in this lifetime? How do they get past it in this lifetime? And professional decision making. Some people just don't want to go there. They don't want to do professional decision making. They don't want to move up in their career. They just prefer to stay where they're at. They just don't want to be put on the spot or in the hot seat. Let's put it that way. They just don't want to have to have other people questioning them or seeking them out constantly, because it makes them uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable. And so it's just like, wow, where do you go with that? And so then we have their own past life tell them exactly why they have that issue. And it's usually very, very eye-opening for a person. Very, very eye-opening. What I'm going to do now, and I did have, and I know she's listening because I see her in the chat room. Okay, let me bring up Facebook here real quick, because she did a long one and I wasn't going to handwrite it all out. Okay. And that one is something else. She wrote me on two different issues. One of them is wanted to know if she was involved with a person in a past life. Okay, she met a man for only a few months. This was one of those people that come into your lifetime for a short season, and then they disappear out of your lifetime again. And where other people will come into your lifetime and they stay for a long, long time, for maybe several seasons. So she had a person, a gentleman who came into her life for a season, for a few months, and this was 14 years ago. And then he passed over. So he did move on into the spiritual realm, and one of his best friends brought her some pictures of him and a few pieces of art. And as a matter of fact, the guy, he was an art collector, and he acquired several pieces, and she received one of those pieces when he passed over, and the friend made sure that she got it. And the friend told her that she should keep them, and she has kept them safe ever since. They're very, very dear to her, and she's been wondering for the past 14 years if she's had a connection with him in a past life. I'm sorry, she put in a second little thing at the bottom there, in a past life. So what was the relationship in a past life? Did she have one with him? And I'm getting yes, there definitely was a past life relationship, and it's like this person pops in and out, not very long relationships, but usually something very short. And it's usually a period of time where the person comes in, helps you through a period of your life, whatever the relationship is with you. And sometimes, and they're saying that sometimes in the past it's been as a lover, sometimes it's been as a spouse, but usually it's just as a friend. And he tends to change genders, and so do you. And in the different lifetimes. They're saying that he helped you once in a lifetime where you were having a lot of financial issues, and you were holding on very, very tightly to your money because you were afraid to let go. What this person did was teach you in a past lifetime how to let go of what you were actually hoarding. You know, sometimes it's a good idea to have a savings and a retirement program or whatever. That's this lifetime, but this was a past lifetime where you didn't have those kinds of things. They weren't invented as of yet. No banks, no savings accounts, no IRAs, none of that stuff. And you were so much into hanging on to things that you couldn't release them at all. You couldn't release them, and it was affecting you emotionally, and it was affecting your relationships. And this person came to you, and they're saying, as a male, came to you. You were also a male in that past lifetime, and that he helped you to loosen up. The words that are coming in are loosen up, to loosen up a bit, and to start releasing what you were hanging on to, because it was really making you sick. It was keeping you in one place. You were so preoccupied with the hanging on to things that you really were having a hard time with relationships, with anything else in your life, just moving ahead, anything. And he helped you to loosen up a little bit. I'm hearing the words, not as much as he would have liked to have seen you do, but a little bit is better than nothing, okay? A little bit is better than nothing. I'm also getting that during a lifetime where you felt that you were a victim, and the word victim is that you... Okay, I'm sorry, I got a conversation going on over here. As far as the victim piece, you had people that tried to make you feel like a victim all the time, and they were also relatives. Okay, they're going down a list. They're saying relatives, class, racial. There's a whole list of things that are going on over here, and they're just saying that. Your friend, and this time as a female, came in. You were male, as a female came in and helped you to get past some of those issues and learn to stand up for yourself. Learn to stand up for yourself. And because in that lifetime that your friend was female, she could stand up for herself and she stood up for you as well, and gave you the strength, and I'm hearing the word backbone, gave you the strength and the backbone to stand up for yourself and not allow people to victimize you. Okay. Okay, they're giving me just one more. They're saying just one more on this one. You could have been a person who pioneered in an area of science, and I'm seeing held back, and I'm not seeing held back by other people. I'm seeing held back by yourself. You did not have the self-esteem to move forward with the project that you were working on, and somebody else came out with a better version because you did not allow yourself to step out first. And what your friend did in that lifetime basically was a shoulder to cry on for you, was there for you, was the person that you could go to, and that person was your confidant. So you had a missed opportunity in a lifetime with something that you were inventing that was very pioneering, and somebody else got it out there, got it patented before you did. And it basically was a major blow to you in that lifetime. Okay, so he was connected to you. I've got at least 3 lifetimes from him, and the words that are being added, and now a 4th when you pass into your next lifetime. So this lifetime was his 4th with you. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. You also had a question about something else, and I thought it was a very interesting question. Yes, I've run into it before, even with myself, not to the extent that you've got it going on, but I know people who have, when they are doing their life's purpose in healing work or in other areas of, and I see that you do mention that you do have some healing there, that you, when you were rubbing the belly of your child, that you're doing some of these strange noises. Okay, so it says here, in the past 6 months, I've noticed that I belch around people or places. You are not the only one, okay? And I've had this question asked a few times on this show. And it has gone to a different level, and I notice that I speak with a person on a phone or chat with a person, and who also, but also it only happens with certain people. It doesn't happen with everyone. The newest thing is that when I touch people, different sound comes up of growling, deep hollow air, cricket sounds, crying animal sounds, just to name a few. Others are feeling nauseous and heartburn, dizziness, and all of these apply when interacting with some people. I'm going to read this whole thing, then I'm going to break it down. And they come out automatically. And so I have also noticed a change in temperature on my toes and fingers from warm to cold. Sometimes my cheeks and ears will be burning hot, for example, and then you talk about rubbing your daughter's tummy, and your whole body starts with the belching orchestra. And you wanted an opinion on it. I'd like to know if the sounds mean something, yes they do, and why the change in body temperature. And I am not afraid of what's happening, which is a good thing, with my body, and I'm amazed of how my body reacts. I just want to understand what's going on, and if this is something I can help others with, and then how can I go about it? Okay, this comes out usually in an advanced healing class, or in a regular healing class that I do, depending if I get a person that's gifted with this kind of gift. What you are doing actually, especially with the belching, is releasing energy from the other person, And even in the past life class, okay, let me go back to past life for a minute. I had a student that when she was going through the past life regression piece, when she came out of it, she was releasing what she had just let go in the past life regression piece, because she would have intentions, she would set, and she would come in, she did several times, and she would set intentions, and then she had these past life experiences and situations and stuff that we had to go through, and we had to figure out how to release them. And when she came out of it, she would have the constant belching, and she couldn't control it. And I've seen other people in healing sessions have that as well. And not just that, but other noises that also come out. And it's a releasement piece. It's a releasement piece. Some people do it for themselves. Some people do it for other people. And it's not for everybody, okay? It's for somebody that is holding a certain type of an energy, and it comes through the person who has the healing ability, and you have a healing ability, whether you know it or not, and it will come through as a different sound, okay? And just go with it. Just go with it. Just tell people that you are a healer. It's shamanics used to have this a lot. People who were shaman, this was considered a natural part of the repertoire of releasing sound, of releasing energy, of releasing air coming up through the body. And it's just a physical way of dealing with the energetic releasement for others. It says here you were also feeling nauseous at times, and heartburn and dizziness. And all of these apply when interacting with some people and places. Okay, this is, the nausea means that there's usually dark energy there or an entity. I've had people who got nauseous, they have the heartburn. I've had people that actually would throw up because of the energy that was present. Dizziness. If the energy is a real high energy, it can make you dizzy. But these are all the dizziness, the heartburn, the nausea, and sometimes people get a metallic taste in their mouth, or the taste of sulfur, or the taste of urine or poo or whatever. Or they smell these things. These are all signs of there is negative energy or an entity. And if you are feeling these things, and then you go into your other routine of the belching and stuff, which means you're passing that crap out of the room or from a person. That these are, a lot of healers get this, and when they go into my advanced healing class, which is actually the possession and exorcism class, we get a lot of this. Okay, and you come near people that even in a regular healing class that are really carrying something horribly dark, whether it be their own past life, whether it be an entity, or some other kind of attachment or trauma. And trauma is also will come up with those type of things. So that's where you have to learn to discern exactly what is going on. Is it trauma? Is it past life? Is it an entity? Is it negativeness that they've picked up? Dark energy, high energy, low energy. And don't think that just because something is dark, that it's a low energy. They can be very high energy. They can make you very, very dizzy. And it's basically, that's the type of energy you're running into when you have these issues going on. Okay. You said you had a change of temperature. Toes and fingers from warm to cold. This is another common piece. When your energy needs to pull together to really do something, it will pull also from the physical body, and it is noted that people's hands will suddenly become cold, their toes will become cold, because where else are they going to pull it from? Where else is spirit going to pull it from? they're going to pull it also from your physical being, which means your circulation is going to change, okay? Sometimes the heart rate is slowed down, sometimes it is speeded up. Sometimes the circulation will center more into the core of the body, and the fingers and toes will have less circulation going to them, and they'll get cold. But as soon as whatever it is that's causing it lets go or changes or ends, the blood flow starts again. You start getting warm again. The hands will get warm again. The feet will get warm again. So you got to understand that it's has to do with your energy and the situation at the time. Sometimes you say, sometimes my cheeks and ears burn red hot. Yeah, that's the presence of usually spirit, and stuff is going on. I get that a lot. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that when I have certain types of spirits visiting with me, I know by their energy signature, by what they do. Some will tap me on the shoulder, some will run energy down my back, or put their hand on my temple. And so you know that something's going on, and you'll feel the heat, or you'll feel cold. It goes the other way too. It goes the other way. It depends on who it is, what their energy is. And they can send that energy through your body. I was complaining yesterday because I have arthritis, and I was complaining that my arthritis was bothering me. We've had monsoon weather going on here. So when it's either damp or very cold, right now it's summertime, we have the hot monsoon weather. And the dampness hurts my knees. And I was complaining about it. And Spirit put me down into a meditation, and I could feel somebody grabbed my ankle. I'm the only physical being in the house other than cats and dogs. And grabbed my right ankle, which is the leg that was hurting the worst, and the energy went up to the knees and all the way up to the hips, and then circulated back down the other leg. So they and the pain was gone after they were done. So it's not that your healers are always physical. Sometimes if you have that relationship, they can also be spiritual. And I was complaining, I was moving around slow, I was in a lot of pain, so they took care of it. But where the hand was burning hot, and then you could feel the energy just move up and flow, and it was just for a couple of minutes, and then the hand let go, and boom, I was good the rest of the day. I'm still good today. I'm still not having that issue today either, and we're going to have a rainstorm tonight, and I'm not having that issue. So, good. Is it permanent? I don't know. Sometimes it's not. So, and let's see. Okay, that was the end of that question. So I'm going to close that window, and we're going to go back to the studio window. Okay. Oh, okay, so we've got a response from the person that asked about her friend from 14 years ago. And she said, yes, he said that while he was alive, to stand up for myself. Okay. And so there's one validation right there. When we do the readings, people will usually, they know exactly what I'm talking about, or whoever is doing the reading for them. Sometimes we make students read for each other. And they know exactly what a person's talking about. You don't have to know who the person is. You don't have to know anything about them. You just allow Spirit to come through and deal with it, especially with a past life reading. I mentioned past life therapy, and I mentioned the healing type where you do the energy work, and stuff keeps coming up in the session, coming up into their energy field. And what I tell people is, if they feel like they're not done, we keep going, because it'll go through several different lifetimes. If there's a neck issue with a person, what we do is we take a look at that. I tell them what's going on there, and then suddenly whatever that pain is, it'll disappear. Something in another area will pop up. on the other side of the neck or somewhere else in the body. And as we remove things, other things surface. And we take care of as many as that will surface in one session. And sometimes it takes many sessions. A really lucky person, if they don't have a whole lot of those type of issues, they'll come out of one session with those issues cleared up. But if you want to look at it and challenge your past life issues from another angle, then we do a different type of therapy. There are massage therapists out there that don't know that what they're dealing with because they haven't got the training, that they're reactivating body cell memory. And some of them will actually, it'll come to them and they'll see a flickering thought. If they're not trained in passing on messages or the memory stuff that's coming up in the cell bodies as they're doing the massage or talking to the person, some of them will just keep it to themselves because it scares the crap out of them. People who are trained, though, in that type of an area will say, and they'll keep, unless they have a client that knows that they also do spiritual stuff. If the client doesn't know that the person does spiritual stuff, then they'll make it a very generic thing, and they'll be working in an area and they're going, well, I feel such and such and such going on here, and I'm kind of seeing that maybe you have something going on with a relationship or something, and the person, you let them verify it, you let them validate it, and usually they will come forward on it. Oh yes, my shoulders are tight because I've been having some stress with a relationship issue, and so on and so forth, and they'll validate it, and you just keep working that out until it's gone. So that's people who do massage work. Now, you have to have a license to do that kind of thing. Energy work, on the other hand, can be done no touch, or if it is touch, it's usually like touch on the head or touch on the arm, or it's clothing on, and you don't need a license for that. But some people do get they do get a different type of piece of paper where they are ordained as either as a priestess or as a reverend or as a spiritual healer or whatever it is, and it's still clothing on, and with the permission of the person only. So energy work will bring up past lives to the surface to be removed, and we've already discussed that as a healing session where it comes up in the person's energy. Past life channeling is where you have a person who is a channel, and I've done this in group sessions with a class before, where I will go into channel mode and I'll have somebody on the side writing down who it's for, who came through, and how many, because I don't know usually. Once I get started into it, I'll remember the first one that came through and the last one that came through, and I don't know of any of the other stuff in between. So when you are actually channeling through a person's past life, they're telling you the personality sometimes will come through. They'll tell you about who they are, what they did, why it's affecting their life, and then usually go on and on and on and tell the person what they think of their present life. So very interesting there, channeling sessions. And sometimes I do that in a past life class. Not always. It depends on how many people are in the class and how many weeks we are into it. If past life regressions take a couple of weeks instead of one session for the people, then, or if it goes into 3 weeks, then we have to adjust. If they go very quickly and we get through everybody in one class, and the classes are usually 4 hours long per session, then we can move into added things such as the channeling piece. So we've done that as well. The astrology reading, and we've already discussed that as well. The astrology reading will give them a lot of what's been happening in a person's past life, and where it went and why that happened, and everything. Those are interesting as well. I do give a person like I said, a 28-page on that. Meditation, either as a single person, a group. Some people will do it by themselves. They'll do a self-meditation using a CD, or guided meditation or music. You have to be careful with the guided meditations when you do these. I went and attended a group several years ago, another group where she decided, the person who was leading the thing decided she was going to do a group past life meditation. She did not know how to handle what came through with a couple of people when they came out of it, and they were very scared. What they had was not just past lives, but they had attachments that came through with them from past lives to the present life. We call that dealing with possession, exorcism, and attachments, releasements. But this was not my session, this was somebody else's session, and I did not like the fact that they treated it the way they did, and they just kind of poo-pooed it and said, well, you're just going to have to deal with it. And it's just like, how is that helping a person? But yeah, so guided meditation type for past lives, you need to have a person who's going to be experienced, that's going to deal with helping you through what it is that's going to come through. Dream states, and I've talked on several shows over the years. This is my 8th year doing this radio show. So dream states, where I've been visited in a dream state, and I lucid dreamed for many, many years, from about the age of 12 to the age of 48. But past lives in a dream state will come forward, and they will you'll have a very much like an attachment to them, and you'll ask, well, who are you? You can ask them, who are you? And they'll either give you a name, or they'll tell you that they're your past life, and you have the right to ask them, even in their dream state. A lot of people are afraid to do that. But I always tell people, you have the right to ask questions if you don't understand something. Please do. And some of them actually train themselves when they are in a dream state to start asking questions, or they will wake up, write the session down, and then continue with the session asking questions, because the spirit of their past life will still be there in attendance to ask questions. And I tell them, just keep a journal, write it down. Whatever you ask the question, whatever thoughts come to you or voice that comes to you, write down that answer. Actually, there's a famous author out there, and the name just kind of escapes me. Right? He wrote the Conversations with God, where he just asked the questions, and all the answers would come through, and he wrote them down. There was stuff he could not possibly have known, and he did a whole series of books like that. So, dream state. And when you come out of the dream state, you can continue to ask questions and get answers. Hypnosis, we've discussed that already. That's the past life regression. That's hypnosis. And usually, I don't have people that just are in a half hypnotic state. When I do the hypnosis, I do it with spirit present, and a person goes down and they go under. They do not remember the session. That's why they're recorded, and I play them back afterwards. And I've only had 2 people that couldn't go under hypnosis, and basically it was fear. And whether it was private session or in a group session, it was fear, and they were just afraid to go under hypnosis. And so if they would not give the permission to do it at the soul level, or if the ego was having a struggle with it, then it won't be done. It can't be done. But most people, I do it with their angels, with their spirits, with their past lives, right there, and the person goes down, goes under, and boom, they don't remember anything. So we record those. And when a person decides that they're going to argue about what's on that tape, it's just like, whose voice is that? That's not me. That's not me. That's you. And I'm just asking questions. I'm asking your name, I'm asking your age, I'm asking your environment, I'm asking you to bring forth important pieces of that lifetime. And it came out of your mouth, it didn't come out of my mouth. So you can't argue with me. Can't argue with me, that is you. So they must do a lot of fighting with themselves, even in the present life. And then they wonder where it comes from. Okay. Akashic records when I do the past life regression piece, I usually take a person down to their Akashic records, and they get to pick where they're going and what they're going to be looking at, and opening those up. So Akashic records are your spirit records of what you've done in lifetimes and on the other side. Because when I do past life regression, if I can get a person to take them to the point of death, some will go, some won't. They'll talk about their past life, and we'll take them to the point of their death. What happens next? Where did you go? What happened? And they'll tell you. And some will tell you in great detail. And if you listen to some of those old recordings, in some of my past life radio shows, you can hear them. Some of them were in great joy. Some of them weren't in such great joy. We had to deal with that as well. And clear that up. So dealing with their life between lifetimes. Life between lifetimes. What did they do? When did they come back? And then we'll go right into that other lifetime as to when they came back. What year was it? Blah, blah, blah. Who were you? What did you do? And what does that pertain to the intention we set going into this? Had a person recently that wanted to know why he was in this lifetime continually drawn to New York. Well, a couple of his past lifetimes, and he had several that came through, a couple of his past lifetimes lived there. So that's, and they went into their very different lifetimes, and what they did, and so why was he drawn there? And Native American soul retrieval. This is interesting. I've gone and had this done before, but Native American soul retrieval is another way of looking at past lifetimes, present lifetime. And you have a shaman or a medicine man that will take you into, and it's usually with a drum or a flute or some other type of instrument, where they take you down into a meditation, and with the intention that you're going to find these lost pieces of your soul. And the person who's taking you down into the meditation is retrieving those pieces for you. And then when you come out of it, you tell him what you saw, and he tells you what he saw and why, and they give you the explanation. So it's very different approach, and it's also a very interesting way if that's the way you want to do it. It's not where you're doing all the active work. Somebody else is doing it for you. I prefer the person do the active work themselves. Yeah. So we're almost at the end. So next week I will be back again, and I hope to have more subject matter for you. And thank you for listening tonight, and see you next week.
You're listening to AchieveRadio.com. A new drummer for a new awakening.
When you purchase the latest TV, tablet, or smartphone, don't forget to do the right thing with your old ones. Recycle them. The Consumer Electronics Association and its members are making recycling your old devices as easy as buying new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find recycling tips, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Don't let your old tech tools clog your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org.
AchieveRadio.com.
Hello, this is Jonathan Goldman.
And